How's it going, YouTube? This is Steven, and welcome back. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about Sammy Sosa and his new skin tone, right? Personally, I feel like Sosa should not have done it because there was nothing wrong with his skin tone, in my personal opinion. And again, I'll keep it real with people. I won't patronize people. But honestly, looking at his original skin tone and looking at his skin tone now, like I don't think this was an improvement, honestly. I think this was a downgrade, you know. And it's very extreme too. Um, I think that's part of the issue. But I also see people really like going in on Sammy Sosa, and just saying some really messed up things about him. And I feel like part of the reason why he probably did this skin bleaching was because society in general often goes in on more melanated people. um, I don't understand the reason why he felt he needed to do this. Um, you know, and I think that is what's missing from this whole situation. The answer to the question, why, right? Or even someone posing the question, why? I don't think that has been asked. I'm not sure. It probably may have been talked about or whatever, but I really don't see that question being asked and made popular, like, being, pushed in the media. Like, why did you feel the need to do this? Because that is a good question. Whether we're going to get an honest answer, I'm not sure, but it is important to ask the question why, and also to create an environment where people can feel comfortable explaining why they did what they did, you know, or did the action that they did, which is seen are deemed as anti-black, right? Again, he shouldn't have. I don't think he should have done this. And as well, he could have done this in a more tasteful way. I know some people are going to be a little angry that I'm mentioning this, but he could have done it in a more tasteful way, honestly. There's examples of this, Vera Sadiq, Neymar. They've done it in tasteful ways where they've lightened their skin. It's lighter, but it's not like straight up white or devoid of melanin, right? It doesn't look like you were like, just staying in a cave for a year, you know. But hopefully this isn't permanent. Perhaps maybe the melanin will like rejuvenate, or come back. Hopefully, you know. But I don't really like seeing people, bash Sammy Sosa and people like him. And I feel like there is room not for bashing but for criticism, right? I feel like there is room for criticism, right? That's true. But also I think there's room for, you know, sympathy, empathy, trying to figure out why, hopefully if we can get to the question why, maybe we can help prevent other people from doing this. And as well, I feel like people who skin bleach, they got this idea from somewhere. It just didn't pop up, right? They got this idea that lighter is better from society, and it's like we're beating up people we're not beating them up, but we're, bashing people for, I guess, trying to fit into standards that society has put in place, right? And we often do it in some way or another. We have done things to assimilate. We have, you know, whether you recognize it or not, whether you admit to it or not, you have done things. I have done things, and majority of us have done things, honestly. And this goes, in and outside of the community. People outside of the community have done things to assimilate, right? I'm not sure if this was really necessary to assimilate because Sammy Sosa already has money, so I kind of just like I don't like what was the overall goal of doing this? Like what did he expect to get from this? You know, that's what I would like to know as well. You know, you know, and to speak on this a little quickly, little Kim, she has done this as well. Skin lightening as well, and people have bashed her about it too. But again, we got to ask the question why. Why did she do that? Why did she feel the need to do that? Right? And I know sometimes we don't want to ask that question why. I think sometimes some people may feel like maybe not everybody, but some people are implicated in this, honestly. Well, a lot of people are implicated in this, right? So, the mainstream media is not going to ask the question why because they know that they're implicated in this, right? And when it comes to like people inside the community, like Little Kim, they're not going to ask the question why with Little Kim either because there's people inside the community who are implicated in the reason why Little Kim decided to bleach her skin and as well do the other things that she's done to herself, right? So it's like you guys are pointing the finger, but again, when you point the finger, you got three other fingers pointing back right back at you. You know, so be careful when you want to point the finger at somebody. Like, what did you personally do? Because you may have played a part in it yourself. You may not think you have, but when you start really thinking about it, you may have. You know, so I think people should just let Sammy Sosa live his life. Hopefully Sammy Sosa can get some help for himself. Some mental help, and some mental health as well. But yeah, hopefully he can find a way to get to that point. But I'm not sure if the bashing is going to get him to that point. I don't see that. I could be wrong, but I don't see that happening. I'm not sure if people respond positively to negativity. I don't think that it could happen, but I just don't see that. You know, um, but yeah, it's sad that he decided to do that. Because again, like the original skin tone that he had was like a really nice skin tone, honestly. And I'll keep it real up here. Like I said, with the whole skin lightening thing and doing it tastefully, right? I'll keep it real up here. If I didn't think the skin tone was a good skin tone, I wouldn't say it. You know, I wouldn't patronize people, right? Because sometimes I think that happens too, where it's like, "Oh, you're so beautiful." Blah, blah, blah. Let's be real. It's like everyone ain't like point blank beautiful as far as like what we consider beautiful, right? But in this particular case with Sammy Sosa, I think that his original skin tone was beautiful, right? And then he was kind of like at a phase when his skin lightening, when he was kind of like more or less like maybe like a light skin type of. And I probably think he should have just stopped there, right? I think if he had stopped there, it would be still a reaction, but I think the reaction would be a little different. But I just think it's very extreme. But these situations like these, I think sometimes people just want to bash people, especially darker skinned people in general. Sometimes people look for situations to bash darker skinned people, or look for reasons to bash darker skinned people for, right? I don't know why that is. Maybe perhaps coming from a place of anti-blackness themselves. um, I'm not sure, but especially if this was a dark-skinned woman, they would definitely be going in, probably even a little stronger for some reason, right? Because for some reason, it's like anti-blackness runs through society and permeates through society, and you know, sometimes we participate in it ourselves, right? And part of the reason I'm doing this video is just because there was just like so many comments and videos kind of like bashing that I just wanted to bring and give sort of a help provide sort of a balance, uh, and more so critique, not bash, but critique, right? There's a difference, right? Let's critique this, right? Let's not bash him, but let's critique him, right? I don't think we should just be like, oh, whatever. Yeah, I don't think that, but I don't think the bashing is a good way to go about doing this either, right? Because as quiet as it's kept, a lot of people skin bleach. I mean, the products sell out. Accidencia, she has like that whole white licious thing. Her product sold out when she first released it in like 24 hours. So somebody is skin bleaching. Somebody's buying this product and somebody is skin bleaching. You know, skin bleachers are definitely low key. They're not, advertising it, but they're out there, right? But the question is, why are they out there doing this, right? Why? Why do they feel the need to do this? You know? And how can we kind of help them maybe not feel the way that they feel, right? Help them work through this themselves, right? Because we could have kids, I know some people out there have kids, they could be getting these messages, right? And this kind of like runs a little even deeper because sometimes we have certain images where, oh, we think this person's more attractive because of a certain skin tone, right? And then some people may feel you're more employable because of a certain look that you have, right? Some people may feel like, oh, you're more dangerous because of the skin tone that you have, right? It goes in so many, like, it's so nuanced and it runs so deep, But again, let's critique. Let's critique this, right? Let's not bash him. Let's not bash Sammy Sosa, but let's critique him. Okay? Well, that's all I have to say for the moment. Thanks a lot for watching. Adios and goodbye for now.